Welcome to this explainer. Today we're embarking on a pretty phenomenal journey right into the heart of Jerusalem. We're looking at the unprecedented, highly scientific unsealing of one of history's most fiercely guarded and frankly most sacred sites. For hundreds of years, this location was completely sealed off from the rest of the world. I mean, totally untouched by human hands, all to preserve its sanctity. But recently, a team of scientists and historians finally crossed that ancient threshold. And what they found inside, well, it didn't just make global headlines. It sent absolute shockwaves across the world and challenged centuries of recorded history. So, let's just dive right into this, because to truly appreciate the magnitude of this event, we need to look at it not just as a matter of faith, but as a seriously high-stakes archaeological mystery. Think about it. When researchers finally peel back layers of stone that haven't seen the light of day for centuries, what exactly are they looking for? And more importantly, what happens when the physical evidence they uncover starts asking some really massive, maybe even uncomfortable questions? This site draws millions of visitors every single year, but for generations, its inner depths remained an absolute enigma to all of us.
Okay, Section 1, the historical context, a sacred site. Let's set the stage.
To really grasp why unsealing this space was such an extraordinary event, we gotta look at the timeline. This isn't just some old building, you know? It's a focal point for literally a quarter of the global population. The story kicks off around 33 AD. Following a crucifixion ordered by the Roman governor Pontius Pilate, an event the historical texts say was marked by the sky going dark and the earth shaking, a man named Joseph received special permission to take the body. Because folks who were crucified were typically denied an honorable burial, Joseph actually carved a cave out of a rock mass just outside the city walls of Jerusalem to serve as a tomb. Fast forward to the 4th century. Helena, the mother of Emperor Constantine, travels to Jerusalem, identifies this exact site, and orders a massive church to be built right over it. Over the centuries, this poor structure faced fires, natural disasters, attacks. It was destroyed and rebuilt multiple times. Finally, by the 16th century, a super heavy marble slab was placed directly over the burial bed just to protect it, and it sat there totally undisturbed right up until our present day. And this perfectly captures the massive dilemma modern custodians were facing. On one hand, you've got the profound religious significance of the site. There was this deeply ingrained belief that leaving the tomb completely untouched was the ultimate sign of reverence, right? Many folks feared that opening it would somehow desecrate it or leave a permanent blemish on its holy status. But on the flip side, the scientific reality was becoming absolutely impossible to ignore. The structure was in dire physical condition. Centuries of historical fires, natural wear and tear, and some earlier kind of clunky attempts to prop it up with iron pillars that had severely rusted meant the entire sanctuary was teetering on the verge of a catastrophic collapse. Moving on to Section 2, a fragile sanctuary, saving the tomb. The situation had literally reached a breaking point, which brought together this highly specialized team of researchers from the National Technical University of Athens and National Geographic. But here's the thing, the hurdle wasn't just scientific, it was deeply human. The church that houses the tomb is jointly managed by multiple different Christian organizations and factions, and each one has its own unique traditions, rules, and perspectives. Gaining permission to excavate wasn't just a matter of filing some paperwork, it was a monumental diplomatic mission. The scientists had to engage in these incredibly lengthy, delicate negotiations to assure every single custodian that the excavation would be done with absolute respect. They had to prove they wouldn't violate the site's sanctity. Only after they reached a unanimous across-the-board consensus could the real work finally begin. All right, Section 3, opening the sacred tomb, layer by layer. With the green light finally given, researchers stepped into the sanctuary to start a really delicate, multi-phase operation. And no, they couldn't just grab shovels and start digging. First, they actually had to inject titanium reinforcements into the surrounding walls just to stabilize the crumbling structure. Once it was secure, they meticulously lifted that incredibly heavy 16th century marble slab. But underneath, surprise, they hit another broken marble layer. Actually, scratch that. It wasn't just broken marble. It featured a beautifully carved cross dating all the way back to the 12th century Crusader era. Crazy, right? So carefully bypassing this unexpected historical speed bump, they finally reached their ultimate goal, the ancient limestone bed, the actual rock cavity carved out all those centuries ago. And this was the moment that made the researchers' hearts completely stop. As they peered into that ancient rock-hewn cavity, they found it empty. There was absolutely no body nor any direct remains of a physical body whatsoever inside the tomb.
Which brings us to Section 4, Clues Left Behind, the Physical Evidence.
So, while the absence of a body immediately sparked this intense, wild debate, the tomb was actually far from empty when it came to information. When researchers analyzed the ancient limestone walls surrounding the cavity, they discovered these fascinating etchings. We're talking early Greek letters and crosses, as well as a carving of a fish. Now, if you know your history, the fish was famously used as a secret symbol by the very earliest followers so they could safely identify each other. But the physical materials they found were even more mind-blowing. The scientists extracted microscopic traces of ancient resin and tiny fragments of ancient cloth. This is a massive find, guys, because these materials perfectly align with ancient texts describing exactly how bodies of that era were wrapped in linens and treated with specific spices and resins for burial.
Finally, Section 5, The Enduring Questions, Re-examining History. The unsealing of this tomb and those specific physical artifacts left behind have essentially forced historians to re-examine everything we thought we knew. The source material highlights several explosive questions that naturally pop up from a discovery like this. And trust me, historians and scientists are rigorously debating them as we speak. I mean, if the tomb is empty, was the body moved to a different location at a later date? Was it stolen by grave robbers centuries before that final slab was even placed? Or, as some theories suggest, did early followers manage to save him, treating him with those very resins and moving him somewhere else? The investigation keeps a totally objective stance, but there is just no denying that the empty tomb has sparked a massive flurry of new hypotheses among believers and skeptics alike. But here is the kicker. The unsealing was really just phase 1. Right now, scientists are attempting to extract and analyze DNA from those microscopic resins and ancient cloth fragments they found on the limestone bed. As our technology advances, we might very soon decode biological data that has been locked away in the dark for nearly 2 millennia. We don't yet know exactly what these tests will confirm or what brand new mysteries they're going to create. But one thing is absolutely for sure, this ancient tomb is not done speaking to us yet. So what do you think the DNA will reveal? Keep questioning, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next explainer.